I'm Brittany with Stitches of Love Quilting, and in this video tutorial, we are going to work on our first block of the Happy Place block of the month for Sewing Machine Applique. So I am going to review how to get started. We'll build our applique units, and then I'll give you some tips for stitching and trimming your block. So first off, in your first box, it's so cute, you get a binder cover for the front, back, and side of your binder. So the binder itself isn't included in the club, but probably you have one in your house, or you can pick it up or order it online from a big box retail store. So the first cover that you'll have is a picture of the full quilt, super cute, and it has a picture of a sewing machine because you're doing the Sewing Machine Applique version and a little label. Then on the side, we have the edge. A recommendation, you'll trim that down to fit. Lay your binder flat to slide it in. It makes it easier to get that in the binder edge. And then you have the back cover, which is just a few really fun pictures of the quilt that you're going to make in the year ahead. Super fun. So inside your pattern, you'll notice that every month your pattern is going to come with 3 holes punched into it. And oops, it came out of my binder ring. It is very handy this way because throughout the year, you're building basically a book for yourself all about this quilt. So every month in all 14 boxes, your pattern will be 3-hole punched and everything will fit in nicely. So at the beginning of your first pattern, you're going to have basically some informational pages in your pattern. So up first, we have the pages that show you what to expect every month. So what blocks you're making every month. A reminder that 13 is that big block, the Home is My Happy Place block. And the 14th box is your finishing kit, which is very important. And so we talk about how we make the boxes. Then we have FAQs, how to change your address, how to get to these video tutorials, how you can sign into your account, etc., etc. Always remember, if you change your address and then your next renewal receipt, make sure to check your address and make sure on shipping it's got that updated address. You can always email our team, orders@stitchesoflovequilting.com, and they're happy to change your address for you as well. So easy information on how to update your payment information. I know it's so annoying when a debit card or a credit card have an expiration date. I'm currently going through that in this month, and you have to remember every place your card is and try and find it back. So we try and make it as easy as possible for you. And don't worry, if you forget, the system automatically sends you a reminder to do so. Then we have information on how to contact us. We do have online 24/7 support in the form of FAQs and basic information about your block of the month. And then, of course, you can always submit a ticket and email our team, and they're happy to help you the very next business day, or if it's during the business day, they'll help you that same day. We do go home on the nights and weekends, though. We're not robots. We all go home and sleep. Don't forget that. Then we go through our recommended notions, which we're going to talk about in the video as well. And we kind of talked about them in the welcome video tutorial as well. So things like our glass mat, the fusing mat, our threads, our needles, the stabilizer. Don't forget, we have backing that you can add to your order as well. And then some great rulers that we like to use. And then we're to our first pattern. Yay, super cute. So this first block is this snowman. It represents January, if you will, of the calendar. And it's a really cute little snowman. He is made out of the paparazzi fabric, which is a new fabric from Riley Blake. It's so fun. It kind of has like a, what are they, like old comic book style dots to me. I really, really like it, as is the heart. And then we have super cute ginghams, some fun Lori Holt prints throughout. It's just adorable. I love it. So in our pattern, let's talk about what we're going to do. We have all of the steps laid out, and then we have our stitch order. I do encourage you, before you start, to read through the steps. It's super simple. We're going to make 2 applique units, and we're going to iron them on, then we're going to sew it, then we're going to trim it. It's really, really easy to do. Again, this is a very beginner-friendly project. So I'm going to sit that above so I can still read it. I know you can see it a little bit in the camera, but that's okay. So I am going to show you how we get our pieces ready. So in the tutorials every month, I'm not going to show you how to number the pieces because it's very easy, but I'm going to show you this first time. When you get your pieces, let me get my placement guide. Your placement guide isn't 3-hole punched in this because it's an 8.5-inch block. So we put it on this large 11x17 paper. So you have your full-size placement guide, and then you have your reverse applique pieces. The pieces are reversed, so if you ever want to make the quilt again, you have the applique pieces to trace and fuse onto your own fabric if you want. So we are going to number our pieces. Let me move my background fabric aside. So what I have in front of me is my light pad, then my glass mat, and then my fusing mat, just like we did for our welcome kit. If you remember in that video, I call that the perfect stack. So we are going to number our pieces. It's super simple. You basically use your reverse applique pieces, turn it paper side up, and obviously match the piece to the shape. Very easy. If you have little ones or grandkids, this is a fun part for them to help because it kind of teaches them the basics of applique, and it's very easy to do. Now I'm using a Sharpie that we use downstairs in our laser department, and it's handy for that department. However, I would recommend using like a pencil or a pen or a Pigma pen to write because this does tend to smear a little. So actually what I'm writing with, I don't recommend. So then a fun thing to do when the pieces are like this together, it's easier for our team to kit it, and we make sure you get all of your pieces. And I leave them on the placement guide the same way we lasered. So see, you can just line it up right there and you know exactly what the numbers are. And you can see I draw a line at the bottom under the 6 or the 9, so I know what it is. Sometimes I draw it under all my numbers. It's a thing. This is a very forgiving project, so there's not like definitive rules, like you have to do this way or what have you. But to me, building an applique unit, numbering my pieces first, it just makes life easier, and I like that. I like easy. So here's number 1, my little chimney. I have 3 little dots. I'm not going to bother numbering them because they're the little dots on the thing. I'll know when to put that on. My carrot nose, we'll free him in a second. My little heart is number 5, and then our snowman hat is number 9. So the pieces that are inside, we're just going to do a simple little boop, snip, and I am using the Karen K. Buckley scissors. They're so handy. They're sharp all the way to the tip, and these are really easy to just snip free. See, it's just like a little like centimeter or so that keeps it held together. So very easy to snip these free. And then I recommend having a cute little jar or tray or little trash can to put your trash in. And again, when I'm filming this, I don't have mine at my workstation, so I'm just gonna make a pile, but I do like to have a tidy workspace, so I recommend that. And I mentioned this in the tutorial for my sewing room at home. I have like this mini trash can with the little revolving lid. It's like a cute sage green. It has its own little trash bags. It's so stinking cute. It just has delighted me. Here at the office, I have like little glass bowls that are like hearts. I have some red and lime green, two different ones, like little tins that look like kind of gardening pails that are super cute that I use as trash cans. So anything that makes you happy can be your little trash can. Okay, so now we've done step 1. We've reviewed what's in our box. Step 2, I haven't starched my background fabric, but I'll do that in a second. And then we've identified and numbered each applique piece. Now we're gonna organize our 2 applique units and build them. So applique unit number 1 is pieces 1 through 5. Super simple, let's grab it. So piece number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So this is gonna be our unit number 1. It's gonna build our house. So I'm gonna set that right there. And then our second unit is our snowman, and you're just gonna pick them up in numerical order again here, 6 through 13. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then our 3 little dots, 11, 12, and 13. So I'm gonna set those right there. Okay, so now let me move this a little bit. I'll come back to it when we're doing the stitching. Hope it doesn't fall while I'm filming because I need it. Okay, so I'm gonna turn my light pad on. I put it on the brightest power. That's just what I like. So again, in my perfect stack, I have my light pad, my glass mat, and then it is my placement guide. And then fusing mat, bloop, right on top. So the first unit again is 1 through 5. We're building our house, and so it's as easy as can be. We're gonna first put our little chimney, piece number 1, in place. And your fusing mat has like a little bit of a tacky nature to it, so you don't have to iron the pieces right away. Like when you're putting it in place, you can usually put a couple pieces So I'll show you. And then we're going to put number 2. This is our house. And every piece is a perfect fit to your placement guide. So it's very easy. Now we're going to put the roof. And now I am going to do a little press. So I'm going to press where these, I hope my iron auto turns off. Yeah, he's still hot. So there we go. We're going to press where they overlap. Boop. There we go. And again, pressing versus ironing. Ironing is when you're like moving the iron. Press is when you just press and hold. So you want to press with applique, because if you pull your iron or push your iron, your pieces might move. Okay, now we just have the door and the heart to put on. So cute. And if you need to like just make sure you're lining it up, just look right underneath the piece. There we go. And then our heart goes right above. So cute. I just love these fabrics. There we go. And our little heart. Adorable. There we go. So we're going to give this a press and a press. Now we're going to build our snowman unit. So what I'm going to do is simply slide my placement guide over and make room for my snowman. There we go. So 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 is the nose, and then our 3 dots. I am going to look at the picture of my 3 dots. It goes yellow, red, blue. I was looking at my picture. So yellow, red, blue. I'm going to lay that out. You can put them in any order. It's yours, right? Yellow, red, blue. Okay. So number 6, the bottom of our cute snowman. Do you guys get to build snowmen very often? We live in Florida. So the last time I built a snowman was actually when I was in graduate school. I went to graduate school in Chicago, and it was it actually wasn't near Christmas time. It was like spring, or was it right before I graduated? I don't know. It was sometime in Chicago. It was cold, shocker, Chicago. But we were outside of a museum, and there was snow on the steps, and my grandma and I built the like smallest little snowman on the steps of the museum. It was pretty fun. That's a good memory. She was fun like that. Okay, so I have 3 pieces, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to give them a press where they overlap. And now I'm going to put my little hat on. So it's fun to build a snowman. I think I've only built a couple ever in my life. One time in 1989 when I was 4 years old, or 5 years old, 4 years old, 5. It snowed at Christmas here, and I remember for some reason we went to the neighbor's deck and built, again, a really small snowman. It was really more of a triangle on the neighbor's deck. I don't know why we used their deck and not our own deck, but that's the memory, because they weren't in town. I don't know. And then our little nose. Oh my gosh, so cute. Let's give him a little tap. Adorable. I think it would be fun one day, though, to be in the snow in the winter and do like a proper snowman with like a scarf and like actual carrot nose and stuff. That would be really fun. And then we're going to put our little circles. And again, you can put your circles really kind of how you want them, or follow the placement guide. That's what it's there for. I just want to encourage you that as you're doing this, make it your own. Like if there's, when we recommend thread colors, you can change it if you want to have contrasting thread or things like that. Like there's no quilt police. We're never going to come to your house and tell you if you did it right or wrong. We just want you to be happy and have fun with it. I think sometimes people make things like very serious and they shouldn't. It should be fun. Okay, so now we have our 2 units. How easy was that? You're like ready to go. And now what we're going to do is peel these up and just very gently lift it, and it lifts right up. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. We have a house. Look. I love it. I love building units. A long, long time ago when Mom was teaching me applique, the whole idea of a unit's just, I was like, I don't understand why we have to do that. Well, it just really does make it easier, and it makes it more accurate. So our little snowman, so cute. So now you don't need your fusing mat anymore for this month. You just need your placement guide, and you need your background fabric. I skipped a step, remember, at the beginning, and didn't press this. So I'm going to press it now. You'll notice every month you get approximately a 10-inch square. You're going to, at the end, trim it down to 8.5 inches. So if you get yours and it's 10 1/4, or it's 9 3/4. Don't worry, you have plenty to trim off. So if you can see, you just want to make it where you're covering that 8.5-inch square, right? So easy peasy, we're going to pick up unit 1 like so, and we put it in place like so. And we're going to give this little guy a press. How easy is this? To me, applique is easier than a lot of things. It really is. Especially once you practice your applique stitch. I will say I do a lot of building units, and I do a lot on the embroidery machine. So I haven't applique stitched on my sewing machine in a bit. And I was doing something the other day for a tutorial, and I made mom come in and film it because I was like, mine's just not good enough to show. And so I'm about to go on a trip, but when I get back, I've made it like a personal mission to become an expert at my own stitch again, because I used to be so good at it, and then I do work things. And so I'm going to be sewing this whole quilt. Well, I have to do the embroidery machine version, of course, for work, for the tutorials. But the sewing machine version here that I'm doing in the tutorial with you every month, I'm going to then go home and stitch it. So it's really fun. I'm making this for my house along with you guys, which is super fun. I can't wait to have it. Okay, so now we have a fun step. I forgot to bring my pen in. Oh no. What we're going to do next is draw our lines. So we're going to pause, and I'll be right back with my Pigma pen so that I can mark the accent lines with you. Okay, so now I have my Pigma pen and my Sew Line chalk pencil. Either one of these are great options when you are marking accent lines. With the Pigma pen, you get a really nice thin line. However, if you sew ever so slightly inaccurately over it, you will see it. To me, the Sew Line is a little more forgiving because it's a chalk pencil, and you can kind of just rub it away if you miss your mark. So I'm going to show you the Sew Line chalk pencil. And what we are going to put on there is our marker, our 2 eyes, the mouth, and then our arms. So the 2 little eyes are super easy, 2 straight lines. Then we have our mouth, just like so. Oh my gosh, he's going to be so cute. And then we have our arms. There we go. And our arm here. So we're still using our placement guide to guide. Easy peasy, isn't that great? And you can push it back in. I love these sew lines. Again, Pigma pen is a great option. I love friction pens too. They're great for marking things. But remember, with a friction pin, once you iron it, it disappears. So to me, I stay away from the friction pin when I'm marking anything for applique in case I go back and iron my piece again before I've sewn it. It's a thing that I've done where my lines have disappeared. It's a thing. Okay, so now let's talk about how you're going to sew it. So I'm going to turn my light pen off. We'll move this aside, and let's talk about our sewing colors. So remember, we have our 30 weight thread for our needle. We have our 50 weight thread for our bobbin. And you're going to want to pick a stitch. If you remember, we did that in our welcome kit that goes forward, forward, 2 or 3 stitches forward, and then 1 bite in and out, and then forward, forward. It's always moving forward in your machine. You don't have any backward stitches in that forward motion. And this gives you such a beautiful stitch, and you'll use that 90-14 needle so that it accommodates that larger thread in the top of your needle. And then again, I recommend using the start stop button. I just think it's easier. I feel like you have a little more control. And then make sure to keep your needle in the needle down position, because when you're pivoting around circles and things like on the snowman, it makes it easier to not accidentally wiggle your piece out of place. So let's talk about the stitch order. I'll show you on the pieces real fast. We're going to do dark brown for number 1 and 9. So of course that is the chimney and the hat. Then we have pieces 2, 3, and 4 are 1176 medium dark avocado. That is your roof, your house, and your door. I personally stitch them in numerical order too. So I would stitch the side of my house, then I'll go around my roof and go around my door. I like to follow things in numerical order. And also part of that is that you want to start with the bottom layer and move up, so that, like, for example, when you stitch around your roof, that line along the bottom is kind of stitching over that beginning stitch again. It just, I don't know, to me, it adds more security to your stitches. It's a thing. Then 1095 turquoise is number 5, which is your super cute heart. And then you have your light teal, 6, 7, and 8. That is your snowman body, the 3 pieces. You have your pumpkin pie for number 10. That is, of course, his nose. So cute. Butterfly gold, true red, and deep Nassau blue are your 3 dots. And then black is what you're going to use to make the accent lines. Now, when it comes to the accent lines, I do, well, on my embroidery machine, I call it a triple stitch, but you can use a straight stitch and go over the line once or twice to add a little more dimension if you want to. That's up to you. When you stitch it one time, you'll see like, oh, maybe I want to stitch over that again. Or maybe you have maybe a thicker decorative stitch on your machine that you like to use when doing accent lines. That's fully up to you. I would say maybe get a scrap piece of fabric on the side, do the stitching a couple times before you actually maybe do that accent stitching the first time. And then, of course, always make notes in your pattern if there is a certain size of the stitch that you like or a certain stitch that you like, so that way on future months you can go back and make it match. So that's a fun tip. Now, after you have stitched everything, you are going to trim it down to 8.5 inches. You need to use a ruler for this. And it just happens to be that there is a ruler that is 8.5 inches that we have, which I think makes life so easy. So I'll get my placement guide back out. After everything is stitched, so pretend this is magically stitched, you'll put it back in place on your placement guide. Give myself some light. So when it's back in place, you are going to take your Cute Cuts ruler. This is an 8.5 inch ruler. So this inner blue part that's marked right here is your seam allowance, which matches up perfectly. You can see we have our trim line on the outside. The inner part is what's going to be visible when it's finished, right? So you can simply put this on here and you're ready to trim. I don't like to trim over my paper because I don't want to lose my pattern, right? If I trim right on this, my pattern's going to be cut. I want to keep it one piece of paper. So a little trick that I do, and I'm using a ruler that's still in plastic when you get yours taken out of the plastic. I do a little mark on my corners just so, oops, I wiggled, just so I can mark where my ruler is going to go. And it's easy along the bottom. The house goes right along this bottom line. And I mark my corner here. And then pull your pattern away and get your cutting mat out. You don't want to cut on the glass. You would then, if you have this Premium Glow light pad, it comes with a self-healing mat. So it's the perfect size. You just put that right on top and then you're ready to trim with your rotary cutter. And, or you can just take it to your regular cutting mat and cut it. And that's it. You are ready to go. It is a super fun, easy, cute block to make. Get a nice little like drawer in your sewing space or a little plastic container where this can lay flat and keep it organized throughout the year so that you don't lose any of your blocks. I like to go to Michael's when they're having like the sale. And recently I got like 10 or 20 new of the, what are they, like 14 inches or 12-inch square little containers, and I love them. They stack so nicely. I actually have my sewing space at home, the other side of my sewing space, we have an attic that you actually walk into and it's got built-in shelving. So I actually keep my projects as I'm working on them in the attic, which is great. Right around the corner, it gives me like invisible storage. So I put them in that so that they're nice and safe and contained, and I put them in there. But it keeps me organized, and then I keep my binder on display because I think it's so cute as I'm working on it. So my little binder is going to come home with me today, and I'm going to take this home and work on it at my house. If you have any questions at all throughout the process of this, or have questions about what you're stitching, always go to stitchesoflovequilting.com, click on support. You can submit a ticket there, or if you just need to quickly reach us, email orders@stitchesoflovequilting.com. And we will be happy to get back to you. We have a wonderful team of ladies and gentlemen that are there to answer your questions. And when they don't know the answer, they just come get me and Julie, and we give you stitch tips via email. Every now and then we answer an email with a video. So I hope that you enjoy this block of the month with us, and tell a friend how much fun it is and invite them to join along with you. Thanks so much, and happy stitching.